We have a 2007 Dodge Nitro. We're going to go through the steps in replacing the fuel pump. We'll start by bleeding the pressure off the system using our pressure relief valve on our gauge. Be sure and capture the fuel into a safe container. Before beginning any repair, disconnect the negative battery cable. In order to do a proper fuel pump replacement, we need to clean the inside of the tank, and that will require the removal of the tank. At the rear of the tank, disconnect the fuel filler hose, vent line, and emissions line. At the front of the tank, disconnect the fuel line. There may be some residual fuel. Be sure and capture this into a safe container. Disconnect the emissions line. With the fuel tank properly supported, disconnect the fuel tank bracket, and unbolt the tank. Before lowering the tank, disconnect the wiring harness bracket. Partially lower the tank and slide the safety retainer into the unlock position and disconnect the electrical connection. It's a good idea to clean the outside of the tank before removing the module assembly. This will keep any excessive debris from getting in the tank. Remove the fuel line from the tank and disconnect from the module. Using a non-ferrous brass punch, remove the locking ring by turning it counterclockwise. Inspect the locking ring to make sure it's not damaged in any way that would hinder its reuse. As you remove the module from the tank, keep in mind there's a reservoir that will hold residual fuel. Be sure and capture this into a safe container. At this point, we need to drain the remaining fuel into a safe container and clean the inside of the tank. Having a clean environment for the fuel pump to operate in will extend the life of the pump. With the inside of the tank thoroughly cleaned, we're ready to install the new Airtex module assembly. Snap the float arm into position on the sender card. Place the seal in its location and lower the pump module into the tank. As you fully seat the module into position, be sure to align the fuel outlet fitting to the location on the tank. With the module assembly fully seated, install the locking ring, turning it clockwise, making sure that it's fully seated into its location. Connect the fuel line and position into the top of the tank. Partially raise the tank into position and reconnect the electrical connection, making sure to slide the safety retainer into place. With the fuel tank in this position, reinstall the harness retaining bracket. With the fuel tank fully raised into position, install the fuel tank retaining bolt. At the rear of the tank, reconnect the emissions line, vent line, and fuel filler hose. At the front of the tank, reconnect the emissions line and fuel line. With the repair complete, reattach the negative battery cable. Cycle a key 2 to 3 times in order to charge the system. Start the vehicle and monitor fuel pressure, making sure it's within vehicle specifications. Now before we remove our pressure gauge, we'll shut the vehicle off and bleed the pressure using our pressure gauge making sure to capture any fuel into a safe container.